As a realtor, your image and reputation is everything, which is why making sure your profiles, images are updated, accurate, and reflect who you are as a professional is critical. At RE/MAX Results, we've created a complimentary online audit to help you make sure that your online presence is an accurate reflection of you for your customers. So if you're interested in having this complimentary guide, shoot us an email, podcast@results.net.
Some of our listing photos, I do a Matterport 3D virtual tour on all our listings. So now we're kind of having fun with it. We approach our clients and say, can we hide in one of the photos?
Okay.
So then when we post it on social, we go like, hey, go find the realtor.
Where's Waldo? Yeah. And then what they end up doing, though, is touring the whole house.
I'm here today with the Med City Home team from our Rochester office, RE/MAX Results, led by Chris Hus.
Yes.
And we have Dane White.
That's correct. Yep.
And Matthew Lien. Hello. Thank you for joining us, you guys.
Yeah.
So Chris, a little bit of background about Chris. He personally has done over 772 transactions, like a lot in your real estate career.
Yeah.
Collectively as a team, you guys have done over 1,100 transactions.
Yeah, when you count all the extra people that have worked with me, team sales over 1,100.
Yeah, Chris usually gets rid of them after 2 or 3 years.
Actually, they graduate.
And they do graduate.
They graduate from the Med City.
Fly, little bird, fly.
I was on a team when I early in my career with an agent at Edina Realty. And then I got Gary Schuler asked me to come join him at RE/MAX, and that was my
that's a great mentor to have. Yeah.
I learned so much from Gary in those years, and Lori, his wife. And they're both
So you've always been at RE/MAX Results?
After my first 2 years of Edina Realty. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. And so your teammates here. So Dane, you've been with Chris about 3 years now?
Yeah, I moved here in 2021 from Long Island, New York. So my wife is a resident. She got accepted in the Mayo Clinic.
Wonderful.
And I was doing part-time real estate in New York. And when I came here, I was like, I'm going full time. And my agent at the time was like, you need to meet this Chris guy. He might be looking for a teammate. I don't know. We'll see if you fit the bill. And then I had dinner with him, and he was like, you're my new best friend. Let's go.
That's right. How can he not be his best friend?
So he was like, all right, I think you'll be all right. So I met him, and it's been great.
I'm going to circle back on the New York real estate question.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool. So Matthew,
yes,
you're the newbie. How long have you been in real estate?
I did it for a year down in Arizona.
Okay.
And then when I moved back up here, I've been doing it for just over 2 years now. Starting my second year.
All right. And it's going well?
Yeah, it's been good.
Chris is a great mentor.
Learned a lot from him, that's for sure.
So he's a family friend, so I know his dad very well. Yep. And when Matthew was looking to get into real estate, I was his phone a friend from Arizona.
So it worked out when I came up here.
What part of Arizona were you in?
Scottsdale.
Oh, lovely.
Yes, very nice.
Very nice.
I came back to family and friends. And
all right. So your team name, Med City Home Team.
Yeah.
That's
Mayo Clinic. I mean,
hello.
Med City.
Yeah. And Dane's connection. I want to go back to you, Dane. So in New York, just because of what's going on right now with the proposed NAR settlement, actually the NAR settlement just recently received preliminary approval. So we keep saying proposed, but New York is one of 32 states in the U.S. that has never had buyer representation. And were you primarily, in your career in real estate in New York?
I was mostly part-time.
Okay.
I also had like a newborn at the time. So I was constantly I was working at a restaurant at night, doing real estate and taking care of my daughter during the day.
Got it.
And I always kind of knew it was part-time because we didn't want to stay in New York.
Sure.
So I wasn't putting my whole into it, but I was mainly a buyer's agent.
Okay.
But without
the official buyer.
We still had to sign the same kind of contracts. Like I'm showing you all about agency.
Yep.
I mean, and I'm not a great person to talk into it because I was so part-time.
Okay.
I basically had like a Chris Hus do everything for me.
Got it.
There as well. But I didn't treat them any differently or anything like that.
I put you on the spot with that question. I just thought it was interesting that,
Terrible question. No, I mean, it definitely coming here though was a huge learning curve because we have lawyers. So all the contracts and everything is done through the lawyers. It's literally like, I'll call you on the phone. We kind of negotiate. I send you like a 1-page offer sheet. And then I'm like, here you go, lawyer. Do everything for us. At least, I don't know if that's how it is now, but
yeah.
That's kind of how it was for me then.
Do you think, Chris, what do you think of everything do you think in the end, a lot is going to change?
I think our industry will get stronger.
Yeah.
I think there'll be more disclosure. I think there'll be more transparency, more upfront.
Yep.
We're going to still handle our day-to-day interactions with our clients, and they're going to want to hire us. But just knowing the stuff up front, being a little bit more clear when we're meeting somebody new or refreshing an old acquaintance.
I agree. The Midwest has already been set up for this. Yeah. What's happening nationwide. So
and we've always been very forward with our clients of net sheets and disclosure about the compensation. It's just making sure that we're doing our due diligence in the front side better and standing out and being the professionals we are. So
yeah. So do you guys, as a team, do you have a niche that you specialize in, or maybe each of you individually has your own, for example?
Yeah, I mean, every stage of real estate career, I have adapted. And I think that's why I've been successful over the years. So I started and interest rates were higher. And then all of a sudden, the market was turning a little bit, and it was harder to sell things. And then new construction was still going kind of strong in the area where it was still affordable. And then we got into the crash. And so then I partnered with Jackson in my office that had a connection with Fannie Mae, and doing foreclosures kept me alive during the hard times, right? Because I didn't want to do short sales. And so foreclosures was the avenue, and, it floated me through those years. And then, I've introduced myself back into new construction, and we're starting to do high-end at new construction just because of the 3 L's, the lumber, the land, and the 3 L's.
Yeah.
Let me back up again.
Yeah.
What's the lumber, land, and love? Right?
Okay. All right. So,
but I've always gravitated to the first-time home buyers and a net move-up position. And Dane, obviously his connection with his wife, new resident doctors to Mayo.
Yeah, I do kind of like to deal with a lot of residents. A lot of my marketing is focused on that. A lot of where I put my energy is in that community.
Yep.
Well, he lives it. Right. He moved here as a resident family. Yep. A incoming doctor family. And
I do have a nice connection with the spouses just because I understand where they're coming from and what they're doing. And I bought my house during COVID. I never even stepped foot in Minnesota. We bought our house offline. We had a wonderful RE/MAX agent, Triada, help us. She would Zoom it, walk through, FaceTime us. And we were like, okay, I guess this is the house we're buying. Yep. Drove up to it and was like, this is where we live now. And
perfect.
So I totally understand where a lot of these people I can't fly out for the Rochester market
multiple weekends
and do multiple weekends and lose out on multiple offers and stuff like that. So I understand what they're coming from. I help them through that. So that's kind of where I focus a lot of my attention. That and soccer.
Wonderful. And soccer.
Yeah. Everyone's like, oh, golf.
You play soccer?
I play it. I coach it. I sponsor the semi-pro team in town. Oh. I sponsor youth teams.
Okay.
Everybody's focused so much on golf and hockey. It's left kind of a little small space for me. Yeah. And because we have such because of the clinic, we have a really high South American population that love soccer. European population that have come in. Yeah. So I've kind of found a nice niche with those people. Okay. And I'm getting referrals from that and staying in that little world.
Nice.
Anyone that wants to join his soccer team, he asked them a couple questions.
Oh, yeah. First,
what'd you ask?
Are you good? And do you want to buy a house? And that's kind of what and if they don't, they don't get very much money.
They're benched.
Yeah. Unless they're really good.
Yeah. And then we talk about it. We'll sort it out. Yeah.
How about you, Matthew?
I think just anything I can. I do a lot of open houses, so trying to find those buyers there. A lot of my friend group is starting to be that first-time home buyer.
Perfect.
So reaching out to them, making sure when they are ready, I'm their go-to guy. But just working with Chris's listings, Dane's listings,
And Matthew has a relationship with one of the larger builders in the area too, Bigelow Homes.
Okay.
And so he's been fortunate enough to have a couple of their listings, and we've succeeded, tremendously with those getting sold. So
yeah. You guys do very well. So do you, is there a coaching program that you work with or you've done in the past?
The Buffini. I've tried Ferry. I've done Buffini. We circled back to Buffini. I have these guys on the 100 Days of Greatness right now.
Yep.
So my business has always been that idea that John has and Buffini has, where it's personal touches. Yeah. It's, the phone calls, pop-bys. We were talking in the car up here, and Dane, has kind of embraced his neighborhood. He has done multiple just door-to-door stuff.
They see Dane coming.
Yeah. Well, that's how most people in the office are like, "Oh, Dane's in the office today. Watch out. Nobody's getting work done."
You're easy to pick up. Yeah. Okay.
And Matthew's from Pine Island, so he's starting to embrace that neighborhood of past teachers and coaches and friends. And so. Okay,
wonderful. So Chris, tell us more about yourself. Where did you grow up? Where'd you go to school?
Sure.
A little bit about
this is my old stomping grounds. My parents live less than 2 miles away from this building.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So when I said the Perkins across the street,
I was like, he's been here. Okay.
Yeah. So
we're talking about the Maple Grove office.
Yes. Yeah. So
yes.
I grew up in Maple Grove. Went to Osseo High School before there was a Maple Grove High School.
Yep.
So go Orioles.
So this area has changed drastically.
Yep. It was all before Arbor Lakes.
Yep.
There was just a Kmart and Burger King.
Yep.
Baker Square out there.
Now Maple Grove is calling itself like the restaurant capital of Minnesota or something like that.
I would believe it because you have thousands of choices now. So
But
I grew up in Maple Grove. I after graduating school in St. Cloud State, I got a business degree there and got into retail management for Target stores. Obviously, another big employer. For Minnesota.
Okay. So, and how did you end up in Rochester?
Multiple stores, right?
Oh, okay. Through your Target.
Yep.
Okay.
And retail management, if anyone's in that industry knows about, switching stores for different opportunities and growth. And as a young couple or a young person, I was able to do those without having to upgroup kids and family and stuff. And then we found ourselves in Rochester. Jessica, my wife, finished up her RN degree and was already hired at Mayo. And
perfect.
Next thing you know, 3-year plans has turned into 24.
Yeah.
And partly into that stay in Rochester with the wife working at the Mayo Clinic.
Yeah.
I switched careers to real estate, and I reached out to Gary Schuler at the time, and he gave me some advice, and I kind of found my path. And then later, as it all worked out, he encouraged me to come over to RE/MAX.
Yeah. And Rochester's a wonderful community.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I'm falling in love with it.
It's hard to leave.
It is.
That's what everybody says.
Yeah.
How about you, Dane?
I originally got a Bachelor of Fine Arts in acting. I moved to Los Angeles because I thought I was going to be the big time, actor.
Where did you go to school? Where'd you grow up?
I started at DePaul in Chicago.
Okay.
And then I left that program and went to a smaller school in St. Charles, Missouri.
Okay.
Graduated there, went back to Chicago, tried acting there for a while. My buddy was like, let's go to LA. And I was like, okay. And so I lived in LA for like 10 years. And then that's where I met my wife. We met on like a movie set. And we dated for several years before she was like, I don't really want to do this anymore. I want to go to med school. And I was like, oh, cool. All right. Like, sure, you go, girl. Like, little I know. And she got accepted into a medical school. We moved me to Long Island. And then that's where I was like, well, we had our daughter. And I was like, I need something that's flexible, that I can still use talking and communication and like be personable with people because I need that. She was like, I think you'd be good at real estate. I kind of got into it part-time there. And then once I moved to Rochester, I was like, this is it. This is my full time. I need to devote my job to it, my life to it. And that's when I started having a lot more success. I paired up with Chris and I was like, oh, wow, you can make a living doing it. Because in New York, it's like the Wild West. It's like crazy out there. There's so many people, so many agents. I didn't really have a good connection there. So when I moved here, I automatically had the clinic. I had my wife. I met Chris, and it was like, this all kind of lined up. Yeah. Started off with a dumb old actress, and who knows, I married a little did I know I got this smarty pants doctor. So definitely outkicked my coverage.
That's wonderful. Matthew.
So I grew up in the Rochester area. and then went to college in went to college at
Minsk.
Did not. Never heard of it?
Russia. It's a nice college.
Went to college at Minnesota State Mankato.
Okay.
And then met my wife, and we moved out to Arizona for a year and a half.
Okay.
She was ready to come back home, settle down, start a family. So we moved back here, bought a house, joined real estate, had a kid, and now doing real estate, working at Mayo Clinic as well, doing IT there, and
awesome.
it's been good.
Yeah, wonderful. That's good. So what do you guys foresee goals for your team, Chris? What do you, I mean, you've already, you're taking off.
I'm waiting for Chris to retire so I can take over his business.
Is that the plan?
I'm like, Chris, you're getting old.
Why don't you just like shove those over?
Yeah, I'll take a few of those leads. I'll give you 25%.
What are some goals? Do you want to grow your team? Is it an exclusive club?
It is,
or
it has to be the right. It has to be the.
It is. Hard to get in.
Yeah, it's hard to get
Tough crew. You need a 2/3 approval to be on the team.
That's right.
Okay.
2/3. I'm 1/3.
So you're
so I grew up in real estate for the most part of working with experienced agents, and I saw the benefit of that. Now it required a little extra time. It took some of my paycheck to also make that work, and I understood that the risk or benefit. And so then eventually I got big enough or successful enough that I was able to step out on my own, and that was good. And then I approached one of my close friends, Corey Mercer, and encouraged Corey to get into real estate, and he's knocking it out of the park too. He has since left my team, sad emoji, but he's being successful, and he just has more time for himself. And like I've also worked with Heidi Novak on my team, and she's also very experienced and successful, and she's on her own now, just crushing it too.
Yep.
So eventually these guys will be on their own too. I don't have any like belief that they won't be there.
Yeah.
But while we're together, we're having fun.
You enjoy mentoring?
Yes, I do.
Coaching?
I'm kind of feel like I'm sometimes the go-to person in the office, regardless of what team or whether you're an individual or on a team.
Oh, yeah.
People stop by.
We're
our
always
office.
knocking on the damn office, kicking the door down. Like, hey, Chris, help me out with this. I'm like, get in here.
He's my guy.
And this is my guy. Okay.
So
That's good though.
And it stretches across brokerages too. So like people that have either worked for Remax and are now on different brokerages, I still have strong relationship with them. One of my passions is like I like to socialize. So I hold broker opens probably more than any other agent in Rochester.
Really?
I just had one on Wednesday, and I probably had 5 different brokerages
Represented. Okay.
coming out to it.
That's wonderful.
So I have Rochester is a tight community. So I don't know, how would you say it? Like, we all know the different agents at the different brokerages just because we're such a tight community.
Right.
It's a small, big city, right?
Small, big city.
Yeah. Where we can go out to dinner and we'll see past clients, we'll see other people in the industry, we'll see people
You can't
that
go to
work
lunch and not hit a realtor or a lender around here on Western.
At any location.
Yeah. They're going to be like 4 of them in there.
Yeah.
Do you guys do annual or multiple, maybe a year client appreciation events?
We've done the holiday pies. We've also done pizza giveaways. We're looking at doing a pumpkin one
and stuff for the holidays and whatnot.
Yeah, so it's just
good.
There's nothing like concrete of exactly what we're doing each year. It just kind of each year kind of creates its own excitement.
You talk about what's going on. Yeah,
I'm going to ask each of you this question. I'll start with you, Dane. What's something that you know you should be doing but you're not?
Ooh, I should be really focusing a lot more on like my letter writing, my mail outs, like staying in contact with my previous clients. I do that, but not as well. I'm fortunate enough that a lot of my clients are in my social group from I see them at the neurology parties with my wife, or I see them on the soccer field when I'm playing with them. So it's easy to stay in touch that way. But for those clients that I'm not necessarily as close with, like maybe the one drop off a year with a pumpkin is not enough. So I think I definitely need to focus a little bit more on that. And if Donna has anything to say about it, my continuing education.
So a little trouble there getting your CE done?
I always get it done.
The last day.
Never. I'm almost done now.
We have plenty of
Missed the deadline.
I never miss the deadline.
That's right.
How about you, Matthew? What is something that you're aware you should be working on that you're...
Yeah, I would probably say something I learned from Chris is just getting in front of people
Okay.
Whether that's open houses, taking someone out to lunch, being in the office. So my job is, my Mayo Clinic job is work from home. So it'd be pretty easy to just stay at home all day, hang out with my family, go to bed, do the same thing. So just trying to get out there, meet with lenders, meet with title companies, meet with Bigelow Homes, take them out to lunch, getting my face out there, name out there, and then kind of grow from there.
And, you know, being early in his career, I mean, it's hard to make those phone calls, you know, and so I keep encouraging him, like, blame me, like, call them up and say, Chris wants to go out to lunch with you, and, you know, and like, and it's a roundabout way to getting that appointment.
I'll tell you something, though, and a weird thing Max told me yesterday. When I first got here, Chris was like, call lenders and take them out to lunch. And so I was like, oh, okay. And I looked up, you know, some lenders online. I found a guy that looked like he was in the same kind of career as I was, like same level. Younger guy, had a younger family. And I was like, hey, let's go out to lunch. I work with him a lot. Referrals, we work really well together still to this day. But he said, you're the only agent that ever called and asked me out to lunch.
It's usually the other way.
It's always the way around. And I was like, and he's like, and I really respected and liked working with you because of that, because you showed that you were initiative. And I was like, well, I wouldn't have done it if Chris didn't tell me to do it.
Yeah.
Like, same thing when Dane was starting. I was like, the daily prompts, hey, have you done this? Have you done this?
Yeah.
I'm like, shut up, Dad, I'll do it.
Do you guys have regularly scheduled team meetings?
No, we're pretty fluid and we're in conversation.
So you don't do like call nights or?
No.
Well, sometimes it's been too long. Chris will be like, let's go grab lunch and talk about, like, we'll have like a once a day goals meeting.
But we're like, not every Tuesday at 8 o'clock. Like, all right, dang it, I didn't do my homework.
No, I mean, he keeps us accountable, but in a way that is not like overbearing, that he like lets me do my own thing. Like when I'm not in the office, because I do have the kids or something, he's not pressuring me, you know, so I feel like it's very supportive, yet not so like overbearing that.
And I want them to have an identity.
Yeah.
So like, I understand the big goal, right? I was on a team working for someone with the aspirations to be my own agent.
Yep.
So I wanted to have that, like, my clients, right? So when they saw my name or they saw the house represented, that my sign was in front of their house.
Yeah.
Right? That's my agent.
Yep.
It didn't really matter to them per se that Gary Schuler was also my experience and my go-to, and like any problem that would come up, like 100% he's helping me with it.
Yeah.
So I want to give these guys that same like recognition and support. So like if you pulled these guys up in MLS, they have a history.
Yep.
You know, now on the listings, we go with Dane's the lead agent or Matthew's the lead agent and I'm the co-agent.
Okay.
So like you as another agent showing the property.
Yep.
If you are...
They still sometimes call Chris.
They still something. Well, I have a relationship.
Yeah,
with
of
a lot
course.
people in town. So
And I would do the same thing if I do Chris on the other, you know, I'd call him first and be like, hey, what's going on with this dude, you know? Can I, you know, or can I, whatever, because most of the time, you know, you're dealing with multiple offers or anything, you're like, any in that will help my client get a better offer. So I imagine, like, I don't take it too personally.
And then immediately we're conversating.
Yeah, he's always like, this agent reached out to me. Is this good? Because I'm the point person with the client. But it's nice.
So what would you want a potential client, someone maybe you haven't worked with yet that might end up listening to this episode, what would you want them to know about you or your team that they might not already be aware of?
Well, I think we're easy to work with. We're very personal. I always tell my clients, when you get my phone number and you're hiring me as your agent, that you can call me at any time. And if I'm not available, I'm going to send you hopefully a text max right away, and I'll be back in touch with you at a reasonable time. And if you can't reach me, you know, I got other people that are my support staff if I'm on vacation or in a meeting or whatever the situation is. So just like the accountability, and then like just the years of experience and troubleshooting. I don't get too fired up when there's a problem. I just kind of look for a solution. So, you know, it's reaching out to that other agent and finding out, where's the hot button? How can we diffuse it a little bit? And are you still interested in buying? We're still interested in selling. So let's find that common ground. And if it's a mitigation system or it's some gutter or if like the lot line wasn't just perfect, like, you know, like, do you still like the house?
You're a solutions guy. Let's get it done. How about you, Dane? What would you say?
I would say, like, one of the things that I like to pride myself on is my availability to be accessible for you. Like, and I talk about this, like, hey, like, if you have a crazy question and it's 11:30 at night and it's like you might cancel the deal over, call me. I'll pick up if I'm awake. and I'll talk to you. And I said, like, well, if it's like, who's the gas company? Like, maybe you can email me that. And I actually talk about people, like, what's important up front and how I'm available to you. But, like, I have clients text me all the time at, like, 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, and I'm futzing around watching episodes of Survivor on TV. Like, I can always pause it and respond to you, you know?
Yeah.
So I like to pride myself in, like, how available I am. And sometimes it's to my own detriment because you do get those late night calls. But, like, you know, I feel like you need to separate yourself somehow, especially when there's so many agents. And I do find that there's a lot of agents that don't pick up their phone. From a real estate agent perspective, I'm calling to try to sell your property. You know, why are you picking up? You know, maybe you're too big or whatever, and I'm small time fish. But, like, when my clients call me, I'm picking up or calling back within the hour kind of situation. And that's good. When I deal with a lot of my doctors, they are like, I get 30 minutes to walk out and make that phone call, and then I'm done for the day. I'm back in, and I'm not going to be able to get hold of you until then. So I like to be like, I'm here when you're ready.
Yeah.
And I'm available.
Yep.
And that's really kind of my thing.
Excellent. How about you, Matthew?
I think definitely partnering with these two agents, being on a team, has definitely helped me a lot. Because if I was a new agent, or if a new agent came to me and asked me what the most important thing is, I would say join a team. Because there's so many unknowns that the real estate exam doesn't teach you.
Oh, yeah.
So being able to reach out to these guys, hey, I have a question, client's asking me this, having that support system that I can go to and then learn from them, also being in listing appointments with them, going on showings with them, wealth of knowledge they're always willing to share. So it's been nice to just be a sponge and absorb all the information from them.
You feel like you've just become a far more confident realtor.
Yeah.
I mean, I would second what you're saying from the perspective of even driving up here, Chris took a phone call. And, you know, it was just some small time back and forth, but it's a learning thing just to listen on, you know, because he's talking with his builder. His builder's talking about maybe a problem that they're working on, and I'm just a fly in the wall listening. But it's just these little things. You just put it in, file it in the cabinet, because it might show up for you later on. Because it shares that.
And I learned that stuff when I was working with Gary. Like, I just absorbed everything that he was doing and taking notes and helping him succeed and, you know, trying to look out for his clients just as much as almost like they were mine, you know, just making sure, you know, everything was on point and nothing got missed. So
what do you guys do outside of real estate? Everybody has kids and soccer.
We're 100% different stages of life, right?
So like what?
Mine are leaving the house. Dane's are in the middle of getting into school, and Matthew is
brand new in, learning everything.
That's fun. And so what do you see beyond? Like, what do you see in the next 5 years? Each one of you, what's like a goal that you have, a personal goal? Dane, I'll pick on you.
Sure. My personal goal is to move in kind of in the vein that Chris kind of did with the new construction. I would like to create enough that I can start building the own properties, creating my own work, not waiting for those people to call to list. I would kind of like to, a long-term goal is to kind of see if there is some sort of solution for this, like first-time home buyer not having to pay $500,000 for a new construction house. And is there a solution? I don't know. And that's something that I can work on. But like, I deal with all these residents and I'm like, how as these 6% increases keep going up and up and up, like, where are we going to be with our like
housing
with the loans for these people? And I think ultimately I would like to get into, you know, maybe buy my own cornfield and turn it into, you know, turn it into residence row or whatever. But like going in that direction, creating my own work. Because one of the things I did learn from acting and where that whole market went was the people that were constantly working on their craft outside instead of, you know, just waiting to be called for an audition, those people that were creating followers on YouTube and Twitter and all that stuff, they were getting the work because they had the following. And it's like, if you're not creating your own work, you're not going to be succeeding as well if you're just sitting at home waiting for the phone to ring.
Are you guys all pretty active on social media?
I'm not that great at it.
Trying to be.
And it is, I think, like, part of me is kind of like, I hated that I had to be in that community to be successful. So I'm like spiteful because maybe I didn't succeed because of that. Who knows? But I am on it and I do work with it. But I haven't seen like a bunch of returns from it. I get more returns from the one-on-one meetings. But the long-term goal is obviously build the business and then use it to get my finances in other areas so that I'm not so dependent upon the buying and the selling portion of my career.
What about you, Chris?
And I've kind of embraced the videos and the reels and the TikToks a little bit. So I am nowhere near the person you need to go out and follow for like complete ideas, but please follow me so that getting a bigger audience. And so I'd love that. I try to have fun with the videos, just like we have fun in the office. Yep. So some of the videos out there are kind know, they're kind of fun.
They're supposed to be.
They're supposed to be. You can't be all serious.
You really do have that like Phil Dunphy-esque, like vibe going on for us. If you're not familiar with him,
always be family,
but like. He's got that goofy Labrador energy, but like at the end of the day, like he's a killer. Yeah. He gets the job done. So I kind of like that about us too.
What about your listing photos?
Some of our listing photos, I do a Matterport 3D virtual tour on all our listings. Okay. So that's just, it's been...
Do you own your own?
I do own my own.
You do?
That's standard Med City there.
Med City, yeah.
Nothing but the best.
And I bought it at a Remax R4. Okay. I spent 8 years ago. Wow. So I was ahead of the curve when COVID came. And so like I embraced it, but now we're kind of having fun with it. We approach our clients and say, I like to do something kind of funny. Can we, or whoever is like listing it is, can we hide in one of the photos?
Okay, in a listing photo.
In a listing photo. In the Matterport.
Okay.
And so then when we post it on social, we go like, hey, go find the realtor.
Where's Walnut? Yeah. And then what they end up doing, though, is touring the whole house.
They're touring the whole house because they're trying to find one spot. If you turn in the right direction,
find the realtor.
I'll be waving.
You're not like going like, behind a door.
We very could be.
Super obvious. Like Dane and I were sitting in their patio with feet up and just like chilling.
But you had to click like a specific way to get to it. So it's not like it's obnoxious.
But that's a great way to get people.
Yeah, it's like my new listing in Byron has a swimming pool. Okay. So, I mean, that's kind of a key feature. So if you're going to look for me there.
Were you in the pool?
I don't know.
That's a good idea. We'll send it to your social media.
Find that one and see if you can find the realtor.
So you bought the Matterport camera 8 years ago at a Remax conference. Was that what you
R4. No, we met 5 years before in R4.
Okay.
So I went,
how many years ago? So when did...
So that's 13 years ago.
Oh my goodness.
Dang.
Yeah.
That was about the time. That was the year that Results bought Remax of Rochester.
Yep.
We were a single office brokerage before. And
I think I was director of recruiting at the time.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, we might have had fun that...
Amy Coletta introduced,
Yeah.
We were dancing on like bar tops in Vegas. Or
so
we were like
young Brenda.
The counter was maybe that high.
the Rochester agents that made that trip, we had a blast.
But for the record, it wasn't just, it was the whole office, dancing.
That's how you remember it, right? It was just her up there. Everyone's like, go, Brenda.
No.
She's like, anybody want to get recruited?
Well, wonderful. So it's I enjoy like these stories because I can't believe it's
been 13 years. I had to look it up this morning just to double check.
I was going to say, I'm impressed you remember that. Okay. Well, thank you. It's been great. Getting to know you, Matthew.
Yes, good to meet
thank you, Dane and Chris, for coming.
Yeah, no,
it's been
this
fun.
is awesome.
I'm so thankful for those gift certificates you gave us to Ruth Chris, too. That's so
Thank you. We had to bribe them to do the podcast.
She already cussed that.